Upon completion of the course, the student should be able to gain sufficient knowledge on the multimedia elements and its application. Overview. We will learn about Introduction to Sound, Digital Audio, MIDI versus digital audio, recording and editing digital audio file formats, adding sound to multimedia projects. Introduction to sound. Vibrations in the air create waves of pressure that are perceived as sound. Sound waves vary in sound pressure level, amplitude, and in frequency or pitch. Acoustics is the branch of physics that studies sound. Sound pressure levels, loudness or volume, are measured in decibels, dB. Digital audio. Digital audio data is the actual representation of sound, stored in the form of samples. Samples represent the amplitude, or loudness, of sound at a discrete point in time. The quality of digital recording depends on the sampling rate, or frequency, that is, the number of samples taken per second. The three sampling frequencies most often used in multimedia are CD quality 44.1 kHz, 22.05 kHz, and 11.025 kHz. The number of bits used to describe the amplitude of a sound wave when sampled determines the sample size. Digital audio is device-independent. The value of each sample is rounded off to the nearest integer, quantization. Crucial aspects of preparing digital audio files are setting appropriate recording levels to get a high-quality and clean recording, balancing the need for sound quality against available RAM and hard disk resources. Once a recording has been completed, it almost always needs to be edited. Additional available sound editing operations include format conversion, resampling or downsampling, fade-ins and fade-outs, equalization, time stretching, digital signal processing, and reversing sounds. Basic sound editing operations include trimming, splicing and assembly, volume adjustments, and working on multiple tracks. Audio resolution determines the accuracy with which sound can be digitized. Size of a monophonic digital recording equals sampling rate times bit resolution divide 8 times 1. Size of stereo recording equals sampling rate times duration of recording in seconds times bit resolution divide 8 times 2. MIDI audio. Since they are small, MIDI files embedded in web pages load and play promptly. Working with MIDI requires knowledge of music theory. The length of a MIDI file can be changed without affecting the pitch of the music or degrading audio quality. Notation and composition software provides a way to create and arrange scores using MIDI instruments. MIDI is a shorthand representation of music stored in numeric form. It is not digitized sound. A sequencer software and sound synthesizer are required in order to create MIDI scores. MIDI is device-dependent. Sequencer software allows you to record, edit, and save music generated from a MIDI keyboard or instruments and blend it with digital audio. MIDI versus digital audio. MIDI is analogous to structured or vector graphics. MIDI is device-dependent. MIDI files are much smaller. MIDI files sound better when played on a high-quality MIDI device. With MIDI, it is difficult to play back spoken dialogue. Digitized audio is analogous to bitmapped images. Audio is device-independent. Digitized audio files are much bigger. Digital audio files sound lower when played on a high-quality MIDI device. With digitized audio, it is easy to play back spoken dialogue. Recording and editing digital audio. System sounds are assigned to various system events such as startup and warnings, among others. Multimedia sound is either digitally recorded audio or MIDI, musical instrumental digital interface, music. These are sound preference panes for Macintosh and Windows. Audio file formats. A sound files format is a recognized methodology for organizing data bits of digitized sound into a data file. Linear pulse code modulation is used for Red Book audio data files on consumer-grade music CDs. In Windows, digitized sounds are usually stored as WAV files. On the Macintosh, digitized sounds may be stored as data files, resources, or applications such as AIFF or AIFC. The CD-ROM-XA extended architecture format enables several recording sessions to be placed on a single CDR recordable disk. MP3 compression is a space saver. MP4 is used when audio and video are streamed together. ACC, Advanced Audio Coding, is used by Apple's iTunes Store. Adding sound to multimedia projects. File formats compatible with multimedia authoring software being used, along with delivery mediums, must be determined. Sound playback capabilities offered by end-user systems must be studied. The type of sound, whether background music, special sound effects, or spoken dialogue, must be decided. Digital audio or MIDI data should be selected on the basis of the location and time of use. Create or purchase source material. Edit the sounds to fit your project. Test the sounds to be sure they are timed properly with your project. Professional sound, compression techniques reduce space, but reliability suffers. Space can be conserved by downsampling, or reducing the number of sample slices taken per second. File size of digital recording in bytes equals sampling rate x duration of recording in seconds x bit resolution 8 x number of tracks. Recording on inexpensive media rather than directly to disk prevents the hard disk from being overloaded with unnecessary data. The project's equipment and standards must be in accordance with the requirements. It is vital to maintain a high-quality database that stores the original sound material. Keeping track of your sounds. Audio CDs, the Red Book, or ISO 10149 standard is a standard for digitally encoding high-quality stereo. For this standard, the digital audio sample size is 16 bits and the sampling rate is 44.1 kHz. The amount of digital sound information required for high-quality sound takes up a great deal of disk storage space. Sound for your mobile. Sound for the Internet. Web browsers must be told what to do when they download file types. Sound and image synchronization must be tested at regular intervals. The speed at which most animations and computer-based videos play depends on the user's CPU. The sound's RAM requirements, as well as the user's playback setup, must be evaluated. Copyrighted material should not be recorded or used without securing appropriate rights from the owner or publisher. Vibrations in the air create waves of pressure that are perceived as sound. Multimedia system sound is digitally recorded audio or MIDI, musical instrumental digital interface, music. Digital audio data is the actual representation of a sound, stored in the form of samples. MIDI is a shorthand representation of music stored in numeric form. Digital audio provides consistent playback quality. MIDI files sound better than digital audio files when played on a high-quality MIDI device.